Hello everyone, my name is Keely. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Today's video is going to be really exciting because I am doing yet another vampire reading vlog. Now I'm going to be reading 3 new releases in this video, so let me introduce them to you, show you what they are. First one is My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine. Now this one is like a rom-com, so we've got a romance here. The next one is Masters of Death by Olivia Blake. Now I think this new release is actually a re-release, but I'm counting it in here because I think this edition just came out and maybe it's been updated since its original release. And this one I believe might be more like fantasy romance style. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I'm gonna like this one. I've never read an Olivia Blake, but from everything I've heard about her books, I just have this intense feeling that I'm not gonna like her writing or her books. So we'll see. This is a good one for me to start out with because it is vampires, so hopefully I like it. And the third one for this video is Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Cañas, and this one is actually horror. So we've got 3 different genres here, and I am looking forward to each and every one of them. So let's get on into this vampire reading vlog. Here for my first check-in, and the first book I started was My Roommate is a Vampire. I've been feeling really slumpy the last few weeks, so I feel like a romance is the perfect book to pick up. So first of all, we followed this woman named Cassie. Now Cassie is about to be evicted. She's really into art. She's an art teacher and she has a million other jobs because she doesn't make a lot of money. So she's about to be evicted, so she is looking for a new place to stay. And she finds this apartment listing that's only $200 a month in the city, and it is beautiful and it just sounds way too good to be true. So she goes and checks it out and everything looks okay. So she gets into this apartment. This man is living there with her, and his name is Frederick, and it turns out he's a vampire. So that's basically the whole synopsis of this. I'm 100 pages in now and I am really enjoying it. There's also some like notes and text messages throughout the story, which I always love in a book. It just makes it a lot more fun to read and it reads really quickly. I really do like Cassie as a character. Frederick, not sure how I feel about him yet. So the thing is, Frederick is a vampire. He's hundreds of years old and he talks like he's in the 1800s still. And the thing is, if you are hundreds of years old, you are probably really good at being adaptable to the current times. But Frederick isn't, and so I'm not really loving that part. I don't like the fact that he acts like he's still in the 1800s, because I'm like, what have you been doing this whole time that you don't know how the world actually works now? But we'll probably see some character development throughout that, and hopefully he becomes less cold to me. Because of the language he uses, I feel very, like, away from him, if that makes sense. But so far, so good, and I will probably check in when I am halfway. Alright, so I am now on page 178 of My Roommate is a Vampire, so I'm a little over halfway. And when I first started, one of the things I talked about was how Frederick still talks like he is living in the 1800s. And we have since gotten an explanation as to why, but that doesn't take away how irritated I am by the fact that he's still acting like that. Like, I get it. I truly do. I really understand, but I am so irritated by how he talks and how he acts. It's almost like Cassie is falling for an old person. And sorry, that's just not something that I find attractive or enticing, but it really feels like that because as they're talking about different things like social media and how women dress now, and just not loving Frederick at this moment. I think this is a really fun and cute story, but I am not fully on board with the romance because of how Frederick acts and speaks. So maybe that'll change in the second half. I understand the purpose for it, but I just don't like it that much. But yeah, it's not bad. I just need Frederick to get with the times, quite literally. So I'm hoping to finish this. Maybe I'll finish it tomorrow. We shall see, but I will definitely come to you with my final thoughts when I am done. I finally finished My Roommate is a Vampire, and this book took me way too long to read, and I did not have a good time with this. I felt no chemistry or connection between the 2 main characters, probably because of how Frederick acted and how he talked, and it kind of just gave me the ick, really, because it felt like Cassie was falling in love with the 90-year-old man, and sorry, that's just not my vibe. But a lot of his beliefs throughout the book were also very 1800s, which there is a time and a place for that, like historical romance. But because this is a modern romance, his feelings were just not it. And overall, didn't really love Cassie. She didn't really do anything for me either. So sadly, I gave this one 2 stars. Not great, considering I spent a lot of money to buy a special edition. So might be reselling that, so go follow my Pango if you're interested. But yeah, 2 stars, not a great start for this vlog. So the next one I'm gonna pick up is the one that I don't think I'm gonna like. So might as well keep the bad vibes going, you know? And that is Masters of Death by Olivia Blake. This is the one that I said that I don't think I'll like just because I have a feeling I'm not gonna like her writing. And I'm a very, very big, like, if your writing is too beautiful, I'm not gonna like it. And I've heard that she has pretty writing. So that doesn't really make sense. But I don't like flowery writing. So I'm nervous for this one. I also feel like it's just gonna be too, I don't know how to say it. Like, I feel like it's gonna be too try hard. Does that make sense? But we'll see, and I'll definitely keep you updated. This edition is beautiful. I think this is just the regular edition, but look at that. Stunning. So yes, I will start reading that probably tomorrow, and of course I'll probably update you when I'm like 100 pages in. So I am 100 pages into Masters of Death. I don't have the dust jacket on, but I think I'm loving this. What? I will say, as far as the writing goes, it's good. It is. It's beautiful, but it's not too much for me. There are times where I will read a certain word and I'm just like, that's not a real word. Like, who talks like that? Who uses words like that? But the writing is actually really good in my opinion. And like I said, if something is too beautiful, too overdone, then I don't like it. But I feel like this is like straddling the line of like overdone, but it is just enough for me. So it's going good. So let me try to explain this, and I'm going to be using the artwork to describe this story. So first, let me go to the back artwork. So the front and the back have different people. There's a lot of characters in this story. So here we have Tom. Now, Tom is a ghost, and he is a rich person, but he has been killed, and he doesn't know why. So he is actually currently haunting his mansion. So here we have Viola. Now Viola is a vampire, but she is also a realtor, and she is trying to sell Tom's mansion, but he's haunting it, so she can't sell it because there's a ghost. Then here we have a demon named Isis that is friends with Viola and is kind of trying to help Viola understand what it's like to be a creature in this world, because obviously there are a ton of creatures in this world. So we have those 3. So Viola's trying to sell Tom's house. And then over here we have an angel named Mayra. And then we have a reaper named Cal. This guy we just met, so I'm not going to tell you about him because I don't really know too much, and because I'm 100 pages in, that could potentially be spoiler, but we don't know a whole lot about him yet. And then I think this is Fox. Now Fox is the godson of death. So as you can tell, a lot of creatures in this book, so not just vampires, but one of our main characters is a vampire. So like I said, it seems like there is some plot here, but a lot of it is mainly just characters. But it seems like the main plot is Viola is trying to sell Tom's mansion, but Tom is haunting it, so she needs Fox's help because he is the godson of death. Then hopefully they can figure out what happened to Tom and get rid of the ghost. So these characters are very interesting, very different, and a lot of them are very unlikable, which is not usually my thing. So I feel like this book has like everything going against it for me, but for some reason I'm really enjoying it because I don't like unlikable characters, I don't like beautiful writing, and I don't like something that has too many characters, and this has all of it, and I'm loving it. I don't understand. But yeah, this is going great so far. I don't know where it's going because like I said, there is a plot, but this is not plot heavy, so it's almost like you're just reading it for the characters, and since you find out so much about them, you're gonna get attached to them throughout reading this. But I'm definitely interested to see where this is going. I cannot believe that I'm enjoying it because it just doesn't seem like something I would enjoy. But yeah, interesting. If you've read any of Olivia Blake's, let me know what you think, because like I said, every time I've heard about her books, I just feel like they wouldn't necessarily be for me, but I know she is super, super popular. But yeah, so I am going to read more of this today, but 100 pages in, so far so good, and I have been feeling really slumpy lately, but I just sat down and knocked out like 50 pages this morning, so hopefully this book, surprisingly, will get me out of a reading slump. We will see, but I guess I will update you when I am halfway through. Alright, update. I am now 50% of the way through Masters of Death, so I'm like page 204, so a little over halfway actually. and I am still loving this. Like, I genuinely don't know my own taste in books, because all the books I think I'm gonna love, I hate. All the books I think I'm gonna hate, I love. Like, this book does not make sense for what I think that I enjoy, but the characters are so fascinating. Like, they're unlikable, which I cannot believe that I am actually liking them, but they're all so different and unique. And what I love about this book too is that it's not just one supernatural creature. It literally involves creatures I've never even read about. There's trolls in here, there's sirens, there's mermaids, there's vampires, there's ghosts, there's literally everything you can think of in any supernatural aspect, and it's in here, and I love it. And this book is slightly unhinged because I never know where the plot's going. Like, now we're talking about some kind of game and death, and I'm like, I don't know where we're going, but I am along for this ride. Also, not convinced if this should be in this new releases vlog, because like I said at the beginning, I think this originally came out in 2018, and then it was picked up by a publisher. So I have seen dates for 2022, but also August 2023. So still including it because I feel like it's still kind of a new release. But yeah, somehow, some way, I am loving this. The characters are interesting. There are so many of them, and I can't believe I'm keeping them all like straight in my head, but I think it's because of the artwork in the front and the back, because it's all different, and so I can picture perfectly who everyone is, and I know what they look like and what they're doing and how they're acting, because they all act very different, and all of their like supernaturalness comes into play with everything they do. So I feel like things are about to get crazy, because this is one of those books too where I just feel like I'm constantly trying to catch up. Like, they'll be saying something and I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying, but I know I'll get there, and I always end up getting there. But it's so good so far. I can't wait to see what the second half brings, but I am just so surprised that I'm loving this. So I guess at this point I will update you when I have finished, and honestly, shock of the century. All right, I finished Masters of Death, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I gave this 5 stars. This literally had everything going against it for me, and I still enjoyed all of those aspects. My Goodreads review is insane because I listed all the things that I usually hate, but for some reason in this book worked for me. Unlikable characters, loved them. The writing, it is pretentious. It can be overwritten at times, loved it. That's usually not me. I am usually a simple writing girly to the core, and this is a little pretentious, and there are certain words in here that I'm like, nobody knows what that means. But I loved it. Like, it made so much sense for this book and the characters and the plot. The plot in here, let me tell you, sometimes you get lost. Sometimes you have no idea what's going on, but it's an enjoyable ride. I think I mentioned in a previous clip that when I'm reading this, I feel like I am constantly trying to catch up, and I just have faith that I will get there at some point. And it was literally that way throughout the entire book. I would be reading something and I'd be like, I have no idea what's going on, but I have faith I'm gonna catch up, and I would every time. And when I did catch up and it all clicked into place, and I was like, this is genius. This is a concept that I have never heard of anywhere before. Not in books, not in movies, not in TV, not in anything. So this has every kind of paranormal and mythology and anything in it. There is Greek mythology, there's vampires, there's sirens, mermaids, entities, ghosts, literally everything. There's trolls, like everything. So I'm reading this for a vampire vlog, and one of the main characters in here is a vampire, but we don't get like a ton of vampireness, but that was okay. I just love this book a lot. I don't think it's gonna be like a new favorite, but it's definitely gonna be one of those that I keep thinking about all the time because I can't believe I loved it. But yeah, 5 stars for that. That means I have one more book for this vlog, and that is Vampires of El Norte. And I am so excited about this one because this is the horror selection, and horror is my favorite genre. So vampires and horror, I love it, and I hope it's done well. I am worried that this is gonna be slow paced, and I don't really like slow paced. I'm like a medium paced girly, but we'll see. And of course, I will update you along the way. I come bearing bad news. It has been weeks since I last updated this video, and I did pick up the Vampires of El Norte. I got 15 pages in, and as you can see, I don't have it because I immediately DNF'd it and unhauled it. I could just tell right away it was not going to be for me. I did not like the writing at all, and I could not see myself sitting through hundreds of pages with that writing, and it felt like I was slugging through it. I've heard good and bad things about it. I've heard one person that absolutely loves it, and that gave me hope, but then I started hearing more bad things about it and how boring and slow it was, and I don't need boring and slow, especially at that time I was in a reading slump, and so did not want to pick it up. So, like I said, it has been weeks from this, like, since I last filmed part of this video, because all I need to do was sit down and tell you I DNF'd it, and I just haven't had the time. But here I am telling you, and like I said, I immediately unhauled it, so I don't even have the book to show you anymore. But because of that DNF, that is now the end of this video, and what a crazy ride, because there were 2 books that I did not enjoy and 1 book that I absolutely loved, and they were kind of sandwiched in between. Love that for me. But the first book, My Roommate is a Vampire, 2 stars, did not like it. The more time goes on, the more I don't like it. I have since unhauled my paperback copy that I was holding up. That will be on my Pango bookstore when I am not lazy and actually upload it on there. So I will be selling that on Pango Books. And I finally got an email that my Fairy Loot edition of that book shipped. So when that comes, I will also be selling that, because I spent money on that thinking I was gonna love the book, and I didn't. And then the book that I love, the saving grace of this video, Masters of Death, 5 stars. Really, really enjoy that book. And it still surprises me to this day. That probably is like my biggest surprise of the year. 5 stars, loved it. And then of course, like I said, Vampires of El Norte, DNF. And I honestly don't think I will be picking up any other books from Isabel Cañas, even though every book that she comes out with, at least like the Hacienda, sounds so good. But I just don't think her writing and me, like, we'll be friends, so I probably won't pick up anything from her. But that is me reading 3 new questionable release vampire books. Let me know if you've read any of these and what you thought of them. If you've made it this far, of course leave the vampire emoji. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, all my social media links will be down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!